Welcome back to the Mormon News Roundup. I'm your humble host, DMBA. That's talent on loan from Kolob. In today's exciting episode, we're diving deep into the Widow's Mite report and exposing the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints' secret investments. Everything from sin stocks to war and weapons holdings. Did you know that before 2019, the LDS Church's secret investment arm worth over $200 billion held shares in companies like Coca-Cola, gambling, and even military contractors? But after the media started digging in, things changed. Or did they? We're going to break down the inconsistent policies and the financial hypocrisy and the stocks that the church still profits from, including those held by the Deseret Mutual Benefit Association and Beneficial Life, which are the church's other LDS-affiliated investment funds. Are all of these investments truly representative of LDS values? Or is this just another classic case of Mormon do as I say and not as I do? Let's uncover the truth.
Welcome to the Mormon News Roundup, your go-to source for the latest headlines and critical analysis on all things LDS.
Breaking news.
Join DMBA's
Mormon News Roundup.
That's talent on loan from Kolob every Sunday and Monday night.
We will uncover the truth behind the news that matters most to the Mormon community.
Let's look at the church's stocks that were excluded from Ensign Peak's post-2019 portfolio. Now remember, that's when the church started following the law and filing a consolidated 13F form. 19 of the S&P 500 stocks do not appear at all in any 13F reports since Ensign Peak began filing unified reports. And here are those excluded stocks. Notice that the church does not seem to want to invest into many beverage or tobacco companies, including Starbucks, Coca-Cola, Monster, PepsiCo, and Philip Morris. The church also tries to avoid investing in gambling by not buying stocks in Netflix, MGM Resorts, or Las Vegas Sands. But here's the deal. Prior to 2019, Ensign Peak's portfolio was sanitized after public discovery. A number of sin stocks had been held by Ensign Peak prior to media coverage in the mid-2018s. Here's a graph of the select holdings prior to the Q4 2019 unified filings. The y-axis on the left is in millions of dollars, and the x-axis is in years. Notice that there are a number of sin stocks that the church invested in while it was breaking the law and nobody knew any better. I'm talking about millions of investments in Philip Morris, Dr. Pepper, Netflix, and Abercrombie & Fitch. But notice after the Mormon Leaks report in Q2 of 2018, the number of sin stocks dropped dramatically, and after the IRS whistleblower report in Q4 of 2019, virtually all of the sin stocks have disappeared. There's been an inconsistency in the standards. The DMBA owns stocks avoided by Ensign Peak. So DMBA is the church's pension and insurer, and it manages almost $10 billion in pension and healthcare funds for about 35,000 church and auxiliary employees. And here's the weird thing. Some stocks that are notably avoided by Ensign Peak, the $200 billion portfolio, appear consistently in DMBA's US stock portfolio. Now, while most sin stocks are still avoided, there appears to be inconsistent policy on gambling, beverages, and entertainment names, because DMBA directly owns a number of stocks which have been avoided by Ensign Peak itself. So this chart shows the percentage of DMBA directly held US stocks, and DMBA is still investing in PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, Monster, Netflix, and other gambling stocks. Now let's look at the sin stock companies owned by DMBA and Beneficial Life. Now remember, Beneficial Life is a church-owned insurance company, and it has almost $2 billion in bond portfolios. And again, while Beneficial Life avoids most sin stocks, there appears to be inconsistent policy for the LDS Church's investment entities. So let's take a look at the ownership of select public securities. Certain stocks are avoided by Ensign Peak Advisors, but yet are owned by DMBA and or Beneficial Life. Again, we can see that Ensign Peak Advisors, worth about $200 billion, generally avoids most sin stocks now, even though that wasn't the case in the past. But DMBA, it has no problem investing in sin stocks. And Beneficial Life is a mixed bag. There is a serious amount of inconsistency in the church's portfolio investment decisions. Now, some of Ensign Peak stocks benefit directly from war. Ensign Peak has consistently owned stocks with substantial exposure to war and weapons. Now, since the Widow's Mite first reported on this, Ensign Peak has reduced its holdings in these types of stocks by half. I'm talking about investments in Lockheed Martin, Boeing, General Dynamics, and other contractors with significant sales involving weapons, combat vehicles, or other defense/military contracts. Now, while the percentage of Ensign Peak's exposure to war and weapons stocks is minimal, less than 1 or 2%, since the Widow's Mite report started reporting on this in 2023, the church has consistently reduced the amount of war and weapon stocks that it owns. Revenue exposure to the war theme varies by company. Most of Ensign Peak's war and weapon stocks also have commercial businesses unrelated to military contracts or weaponry. So again, all of these blue companies here are companies that the church invests in. And you can see that many of them are directly profiting from war and weapons, with companies like Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman reporting almost 100% of their commercial business related to military contracts or weaponry. And there you have it, folks. The vast financial holdings of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, particularly through Ensign Peak Advisors and its affiliated entities, reveal a complex and often contradictory investment strategy. While Ensign Peak has taken steps to distance itself from so-called sin stocks and companies with direct ties to war and weaponry, inconsistencies remain, especially when compared to the investments of DMBA and Beneficial Life. The evidence suggests that public scrutiny played a key role in shaping Ensign Peak's portfolio post-2019. Yet the broader church investment structure still maintains exposure to industries that seem to be misaligned with the church's supposed values. This raises important transparency and ethical questions. Why does DMBA hold stocks that Ensign Peak avoids? And why did Ensign Peak only start sanitizing its portfolio after media attention? And what does all of this say about the church's financial priorities versus its moral teachings over the pulpit? As members and outsiders alike examine these issues, one thing is crystal clear. The LDS Church's investment strategies warrant additional scrutiny and accountability. Thanks so much for joining me on another episode of the Mormon News Roundup. Please like and subscribe and turn on notifications while you're at it. Always think celestial, and remember, no unhallowed hand can stop the Mormon News Roundup from progressing.
I'm the diddly whack Mac Mormon daddy. Yo, my peeps all be conforming cause it's cool to be a Mormon. I'm the blackjack saint on a crack daddy, oh. I'm the diddly whack Mac Mormon daddy. I'm spiritual.